I want to tell you about a feeling I watched walk into the branch for 20 years. People would sit down across from me, good jobs, steady raises, doing everything right, and they would say the same quiet thing. I make more than I ever have, and somehow I am not getting ahead. They were not bad with money. They were not lazy. Most of them were careful people. And yet, year after year, the account barely moved. I started to notice it was not random. It was a pattern, the same pattern running underneath almost every middle class household I sat with. So today, I want to give you the honest banker's answer to a question that quietly stresses millions of people. Why does the middle class work so hard and still feel stuck? Because once you can see the pattern, you can step off it. And I promise you, it is not as complicated as it feels. A quick note before we begin. I spent more than 20 years in banking, and I am sharing what I learned watching real households up close. But I'm not your financial advisor, and this is general education, not personal advice. Everyone's situation is different, so for decisions about your own money, talk to a professional who can see your full picture. With that said, let's get into it, because this one changes how you see your whole financial life. Let's start with the part that genuinely is not your fault, because you need to hear that first. Over the last few decades, the cost of the big things, a home, a car, healthcare, raising a child, has climbed faster than the average paycheck has. That is not a feeling. It is in the data. A middle class income today buys less of those core things than the same income did a generation ago. So if you have ever felt like you are running harder just to stay in place, you are not imagining it. The treadmill really did speed up. But here is why I am not going to leave you there. You do not control the price of a house or the cost of insurance. What you can control is the pattern inside your own household, and that is where almost all of the real movement happens. So we are going to name that pattern piece by piece and then take it apart. Here is the first piece, and it is the one I saw most often: the raise that vanishes. A customer would get a real raise, a good one, and 6 months later, their account looked exactly the same. Not because anything dramatic happened, because the moment the income went up, the life quietly went up to match it. A slightly nicer apartment, a newer car, a few more subscriptions, the grocery bill drifts higher. None of it feels like a mistake in the moment, and that is the trap. Each choice is small and reasonable, but together they absorb the entire raise. Bankers and economists call this lifestyle creep, and it is the single quietest reason the middle class stays in place. Your income grew, your wealth did not. The gap between those two things just got spent. The second piece is about how the middle class pays for things, and this one genuinely surprised people. Somewhere along the way, the normal way to buy a big thing became to finance it. The car, the furniture, the phone, the vacation, all of it on a monthly payment. Now here is the honest banker's view of that. When you finance something that loses value, like a car, you are paying interest for the privilege of owning something that is worth less every month. The average new car payment in this country is now close to $800 a month. Think about what that one payment could become if it were invested instead of handed to a lender. I am not telling you to never borrow. I am telling you that a household where every nice thing arrives on a payment plan is not really building wealth. It is renting a lifestyle from a lender, 1 month at a time. Let me tell you about a couple I worked with, because they show how fixable this really is. They came in stressed. 2 solid incomes in their 30s and almost nothing saved. They were sure they had an income problem. So we did something simple. We added up every monthly payment they carried, 2 car loans, furniture financing, a handful of subscriptions they had forgotten about, laid out together on one page. Those payments came to more than $1,000 every single month. They sat there and just looked at it. The wife said, "We thought we did not make enough." And the truth was, they made plenty. The money was simply leaving as fast as it arrived in small pieces none of them had ever added up. They did not need a raise. They needed to see the page. Within 2 years, having that picture in front of them, that same couple built their first real savings cushion. The third piece is the one that quietly does the most damage, and it is the lack of a buffer. When a household spends almost everything it earns, there is no margin left, no cushion, and life always sends a shock. The car breaks down, a medical bill arrives, the water heater dies. These are not rare emergencies. They are normal life, and they are completely predictable in general, even when you cannot predict the exact day. Here is what I watched happen without a buffer. The shock hits, there is no cash for it, so it goes onto a credit card. And now you are paying interest on a car repair for the next year. The middle class trap is not one big disaster. It is a slow leak, where every normal bump in the road quietly turns into another monthly payment. A buffer is what breaks that cycle. It is not exciting, it is everything. The fourth piece is about order, and it is the simplest one to fix. Most households pay themselves last. The paycheck arrives, the bills get paid, the spending happens. And then, if anything is left over, that leftover is what gets saved. The problem is that there is almost never anything left over. Spending expands to fill whatever is in the account. It just does. So saving last means saving nothing. Here is the quiet thing wealthy households do differently, and I watched it again and again. They pay themselves first. The moment income lands, a set amount moves into savings or investing automatically before a single bill is paid. They then live on what is left, and somehow it always works out. Same income, completely different result, purely because of the order. You are not too broke to save. You are very likely just saving in the wrong order. Now, I want to gently challenge the most common reaction people have to all of this. When a household feels stuck, the instinct is almost always the same. Earn more, get the second job, the side hustle, the bigger title. And more income is a genuinely good thing. But here is what 20 years taught me. If the pattern underneath is not fixed, a bigger income just gets absorbed by a bigger lifestyle. I watched people double their income and still feel exactly as stuck because the leaks were never sealed. The raise disappeared, the new money got financed against, the buffer never got built, the saving still came last. More water into a leaking bucket does not fill the bucket. This is the most hopeful idea in the whole video, so stay with me. It means the answer was never the impossible thing, earning dramatically more. The answer is the achievable thing, fixing the pattern you can actually control. So let's make this practical. 4 patterns, 4 fixes, and none of them require a single extra dollar of income. Fix 1 for the disappearing raise. The next time your income goes up, decide in advance where that money goes before it ever hits your lifestyle. Give the raise a job. Fix 2 for renting your lifestyle. Slow down on financing things that lose value. Before the next payment plan, ask one question. Am I building something here or just renting it? Fix 3 for the missing buffer. Build a small cash cushion on purpose, even a starter one. It is the wall that stops normal life from turning into debt. And fix 4 for the order. Pay yourself first. Automate 1 transfer to savings the day your paycheck lands. Before the bills, even a small one. 4 fixes. Every one of them is about the pattern, not the paycheck. So here is the whole thing in plain language, the way I would tell someone I care about. The middle class does not stay stuck because the people in it are careless or lazy. Most of them are careful, hardworking people. They stay stuck because of a pattern almost nobody names. Raises that quietly get absorbed. A lifestyle increasingly rented from lenders. No buffer, so every bump becomes debt. And saving that always comes last, which means it never comes at all. The reason this is good news is that a pattern can be changed, and you do not need permission or a windfall to start. Tonight, do one thing. Add up every monthly payment your household carries on one page, the way that couple did. Just see the real number. That single page is where it starts, because you cannot fix a pattern you have never actually looked at. You are not behind because you failed. You are behind because nobody handed you the page. So let's go back to that feeling from the start. The good income, the steady work, and the account that never moves. I want you to hear what I came to understand after 20 years on the other side of that desk. That feeling was never proof that something was wrong with you. It was proof that a pattern was running quietly underneath, and a pattern is just a set of habits. Habits can be seen, and once they are seen, they can be changed. The household that gets ahead is almost never the one with the dramatic income. It is the one that named the pattern, sealed the leaks, and started paying itself first. So here is your one task tonight. Put every monthly payment on a single page and look at the total. That is the first honest step off the treadmill. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I will see you in the next video.